I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone to our regular board meeting in October. Halloween is coming soon. Winter is right behind it. The public sessions of this board meeting are being recorded in accordance with District Policy 1420 and Section -2-214 MCA. By remaining in this meeting, all participants and attendees acknowledge they may appear on the recording, which will be placed on the school district's website for a minimum of 1 year from the date of this meeting. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please fill out the pink sheet located at the end of the table and turn it to the board secretary as soon as possible. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from the special board meeting of a work session on September 22nd. Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions or changes to these minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of minutes for the regular board meeting, September 22nd. Motion from trustees. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any changes or questions regarding these minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Next, we would like to welcome Ms. Erna Gallagher, our Emerson Elementary School Principal, for her school presentation in October.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Do I get it now? Oh, there it is. I'm a little more nervous this year. I don't know why. Wasn't as nervous last year. I think I was just too shell shocked to be, but now I am. So anyway, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present. I thought I'd highlight some of the amazing things happening at Emerson this year. With our presentation today. So we're going to look at the growth of the students, the dedication of our staff, and the strength of our community. Our saying that we adopted this year is, if you are going to be here, be here. We're working to be very intentional, both as a staff, but also with our students, to really be present in all aspects of our school day. So to start off, I thought I'd introduce you to some of our new staff that have come to us this school year. So Miss Bergman is joining us in 3rd grade. She's a Butte girl, returning to us from North Dakota.
North Dakota.
And then Miss Becker is her partner teacher as well in 3rd grade, and she was brought up in the Butte School District, so that's kind of fun to see. We also have Miss Markser, who's joined us from Browning. She's our resource teacher for 4th through 6th grade, and Miss Antonoli is also a new resource teacher coming to us. She was working up at Head Start, so has some experience with the younger kiddos. So she's working with the early learning class through 3rd grade. And then Miss Scholey is our new 2nd grade teacher. She was honored at MSU last spring as being their distinguished alumni for the Curriculum and Instruction Master's Program. So that was a pretty nice addition to our school staff. And they've really fit in very well. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into data, start there, and then move from that. So I've created kind of a spreadsheet for you looking at our data from last year. You know, we don't have much to work with this year yet, but we're going to take a little snapshot at what we saw last year for data. I focused on our winters to our spring and looking at our percentiles of where we fell and then our overall growth from winter to spring. So just some things to point out. Our overall school growth in math last year was in the 72nd percentile, and in reading was in the 71st percentile. So these are really both strong indicators that our students are not only catching up, but exceeding national growth norms. If we look specifically at math, I just kind of want to highlight 1st grade in their growth percentile was in the 87th. And 4th grade was in the 88th percentile. So that's incredible progress. And then in reading, if we look at grades 1, 3, and 4, we see that first First grade and fourth grade were in the 75th percentile, and third grade was in the 90th percentile. So this growth really reflects intentional focus on our teachers using small group instruction, targeted intervention, and fidelity to core programs. Teachers have been using their professional learning communities, their PLCs, to really look at this data and dive into how we can use it to fill in gaps within our instruction. And they're grouping kids based on their needs. So the results here just show that that's really working. So we really took a deep dive when we looked at our winter data, and we came up with a plan. How were we going to work with students to see an increase? And so that growth you see in the third column is just that increase from winter to spring with that intentional focus. And one thing that I really want to point out is behind every number you see, we have a student who's growing in confidence. Our focus is on celebrating their progress, not just their proficiency, because we can only work from where we start, right? So we're really looking to build some motivated learners. And then I just want to take another look at what we did. So this new chart is showing you the previous year, 23-24, compared to last year's overall growth. So our overall growth in math went from the 38th percentile the previous year to the 67th percentile for the school. And then in reading, it went from the 43rd percentile the previous year to the 54th percentile. Yes.
Is this maps? Sorry.
This is maps. I'm sorry, I should have specified that. And you'll notice that the previous year we don't have data for kinder and first. That's because last year was the first year we ever did MAPS testing with kindergartners and first graders. So this is some really beautiful data. It also gave us some insight of where teachers wanted to focus this year. So like you'll notice that our third graders in reading went down. So that gives the fourth grade teachers this year some data to look at when they're talking and planning and kind of know what is coming in. They kind of have an idea of what's coming to them. So the next few slides are going to kind of showcase some of the ways our staff is working with our to work at the needs of the levels of all of our students. Sorry, hope that made sense. So it's not pictured here, but one thing that we do have going on is we had a little bit of money left over in our school budget at the end of last year. So I talked with Corey a little bit about what we could do with that. So we only have one lab at Emerson. So we purchased some touchscreen monitors and we're putting in a second lab on the first floor. We do have computer carts, but littles don't have as much access to technology. So this really is giving us more access so we can do some of those intervention programs like Dreambox. And then Judy and you guys as well, thank you very much. You also purchased us touchscreen monitors for our third floor lab. So all of our labs have now got touchscreen monitors and there's more accessibility. That lab on first floor is just about done. When I left today, Tice was in there working on it. So the teachers are really excited to have that space to do more interventions with the kids. And then let's see. Another new thing we have going on, last year I met with my 4th through 6th grade teachers, my title and my resource teachers to think of ways that we could come up with a plan to support our students. So we've created some dedicated instructional blocks for both math and reading, allowing for smaller groups and more targeted group instructions. So we're strategically using title and resource teachers to be able to tier our instruction better to meet the needs of our students. Another thing that we've done is within those blocks, we've included a dedicated 30-minute intervention time each day for math and reading. So they're getting their core instruction, but then they're also getting intervention blocks for both math and reading. And this is a time where we focus on test preparation or to address specific learning gaps that were identified either through MAPS or KITE or DIBBLES and with staff during PLC time. And then another great thing we have going on is our Rockies Intervention Program. These are just some pictures from Miss Powers' Rockies group. They were playing head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So they'd sing the song and touch the parts, and then she'd say a sight word, and they had to run to the table and grab it. And then they'd have to go back and whoever had the most cards for the sight words at the end won. It was kind of cute though, because I watched a little girl who was really good at it and she kept getting them all, and a little boy would get there right after her and he'd kind of pout and she'd give him her card. So, but it was pretty cute. So this program provides some academic support for students needing the extra boost. Our demand with Rockies has actually grown significantly. We're kind of in a little dilemma where we have a lot of parents and kids wanting to participate. And, you know, our class sizes are pretty big. So our teachers are having to strategize how they can meet the needs of everybody and not turn anyone away, given the amount of hours they're allowed to teach, as well as the amount of staff that signed up to do it. We have 3 in our building that signed up this year, but that's a good sign. We have a lot of people wanting to take advantage of that. So now I'm going to go into a little bit about our school culture and our climate. So our staff, the first day with me back after their training, we went on a field trip. And before I start, I just want to thank Judy for letting us do that, but also Jeremy, I don't know if he's here today, for letting us use the liner. So we took a staff field trip to the University of Montana, and we went and saw a motivational speaker. His name is Ron Clark. He presented last week at MCEL. I don't know if you guys know who Ron Clark is. So he's, you know, Disney Teacher of the Year. He was on Oprah. He has a lot of books that are bestsellers. And then there was a movie made about him called The Ron Clark Story, which tells the story of him going into an inner city school and helping students become successful. They were failing test scores and how to build their motivation and raise those expectations, both academically, but also behaviorally. So our staff has taken on the RCA houses, which is a program he created. So we started this process last spring and got everyone on board. And then we went and saw Ron Clark speak, and they all already had their books because I gave it to them at the end of last year. So they got autographs and got it signed, and we all took a picture with him. He was actually pretty excited to see how many people we brought over because it was our whole staff. We had a couple one Miss Erickson, who was due to have a baby within like minutes. And then also one of our teachers broke her ankle like 2 days before that. So she opted not to go because she was afraid that she could, just wouldn't be a good day for her. But everybody else got to go. And it was really motivational and uplifting and exciting. And it got us motivated to start the year off. So since then, we've adopted 4 houses. So the house system creates a positive family-like culture. I kind of explained it to them when we brought it out as Harry Potter. You know, you go in and the hat chooses what house you're in. So it's kind of like that. The house chooses you, and you go in kindergarten and you're in that house until you leave. You don't change houses, and staff is also in houses. Every staff member, from our monitors to our lunch ladies to our cleaners to teachers. The only one that doesn't get to be in a house is me because I'm in every house. But we have 4 houses. And our focus is on creating a sense with staff and students of belonging, pride, and purpose, fostering teamwork, leadership, and accountability, and encouraging healthy competition across our school. We're working to strengthen relationships across grade levels and promote school spirit and provide consistent opportunities to recognize and uplift students for both their character, but also their academic success. So the 4 houses we've chosen are Nukamori, which is the house of kindness, Altruismo, the house of givers, Protos, the house of success, and Amistad, the house of friendship. And our teachers and students, as I said, are sorted into those houses and they stay in them. So it was really fun to watch our teachers, our house leaders who were nominated by their coworkers, by their peers. I didn't choose them, their peers did. But to watch them present about their house was pretty funny. They got competitive in even that and made videos and stuff. It was really exciting to see. So with that, we have house days. Once a month, we have a house day. This was our first house day. All the kids wore their house colors, and our focus this month was really on the education of the housing system. We wanted them to learn about the virtues and characteristics of their house. Our next house day is coming up next week. So the teachers planned a themed month based around unity, collaboration, and courage. We're working to build trust and encourage students to take risks and strengthen teamwork across our school community. So every month we'll have a focus. We're also using this time to reinforce our social emotional skills and work on PACS kernels and behaviors that we want to see throughout our school every day. Another awesome thing we have going on is last year we started our own YouTube channel, Buzzing with Emerson. This puts out a weekly video from our 6th grade students. They're the anchors. And so they create a video that goes out on Monday. In that video, they introduce a PACS kernel, and we call it our Mini Vision Monday. So they watch it during their morning meetings. And then it also presents a rule from Ron Clark's Essential 55. So every week we introduce a new rule. We've hit a couple different ones so far. The first one was being humble. The second one was the power of eye contact. We also looked at uplifting classmates and, not bragging when you win, not pouting when you lose, those types of things. So each week we have a new one we take on. And on Tuesdays, teachers revisit those topics during morning meetings. So they revisit whatever the kernel was or whatever that essential rule was, just to kind of reiterate, those kindness and values that we want to distill in our students as they grow. And then let's see. And then we also include like pictures of things happening around the school. So like cross country, we put in those photos. When we had digger days, we put those photos in because the kids do love to see themselves on screen. So that's been a really fun part of our school community. And I encourage you to go check it out. Another thing going on with our culture and climate, we had our open house. So I just want to thank a couple different community members. We had some great partnerships show up for our open house. We had Butte Cares, Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch, Montana Tech Trio, Native Wellness came, the EPA came, Subaru brought some school supplies for families in need, the YMCA came, our SOARS interventionist Craig was there to discuss what he does, Tressa Johnson, our school counselor, was there to talk about what she does. Butte Silver Bow Health Department was there to share what opportunities there are in the community that we have available. And then KXLF was there and did an interview and spoke with a couple kiddos. There was a little news clip on that. So, but I think when I hit this arrow, it'll show a video just kind of showcasing our open house. That was just a little snip from our open house for you. Our next few slides are going to focus more on community and family engagement. So when I spoke to you last year, we were doing our first annual Indian Education Fair. So these are just some pictures from last year's education fair. This was such a great opportunity for us to really make sure that we were hitting Indian education for all. We did it in the morning with coffee for parents, and we did have a good turnout, but we wanted to up our game this year. So we're going to do it the night of parent-teacher conferences. We have a book fair going on. We'll have the Indian Education Fair, and then we also are going to have a literacy hunt going on throughout the building. So we're trying to encourage more foot traffic in to see all the positive things happening at our school. We also had our Young Athletes Special Olympics, which was a great opportunity for us to build in inclusion all throughout the school year. Ms. Husingay works with our special ed self-contained kindergarten first grade class along with our early learning class, and they go in the gym and they do different activities. But at the end of the year, they have a final celebration. I do have another video, I know, but it's darling. So you're going to get to see the kids coming in and their parents there to watch them. And then it ends. And after it ends, they do some obstacle courses, one at a time. They get a certificate, they have a pizza party. And then our entire school kind of celebrates inclusion by pledging to spread inclusion in the school. So I'll just let you see that video. Those are little torches. And their little headbands kill me. Some of them go find their parents and then they're told, go get with your class. It's cute though. So after this, they do a couple songs and then they all get their chance to show their skills. They touch the cones and spin around and hop, and it's really cute. And then another thing, this is this year's cross country meet. We took second place for spirit, which means we had the second most participants, which was pretty exciting. We had 64 kids finish. I don't know how many of you are very familiar with cross country. I'm a cross country parent, but it is comical to watch parents on a golf course chasing their kids from one spot to the other. And you have all of these parents, and they've even got the little kids with them. It's just so joyful. And then when they all line up, all the schools and the parents are all standing behind them. We had one take off, and within 10 feet, she lost her shoe, and she ran the whole thing without a shoe. And I didn't know whose it was because of the mob. So I just kept carrying it around, and somebody eventually found me and they're like, that's my shoe. So it's so much fun. I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Hanny and Miss Johnson, because without them, this wouldn't be possible. They volunteer their time after school to coach. And it really does make a difference. And the kids showing up, 64 is huge. So the fact that they want to stay there and be with us after school, even after we're in the lunchroom yelling at them to behave, speaks volumes about the relationships that teachers have with these kiddos. And then also, you know, Digger Walk to School Day is always a huge event. We had athletes from, oh my goodness, football and track, cross country, basketball, volleyball. We had a plethora of different athletes there. But when they show up to school, and I have parents sending me pictures of their kids walking before I even get there. Like, I'm getting pictures before the kids are there before 8. So it's pretty fun. And then they all come in and do like a high five chain and go in and get their t-shirts and instantly put them on right away. They all want to wear them right away. So that was a fun community partnership that the school district has with tech. And then now I want to just take a minute to recognize our teachers and students being amazing. There were so many pictures to give you that it was really hard to pick a few. So instead, what we did is we did a gift with Sense and Haslam. So we have calendars for each of you with some toodles on top from our kiddos. Toodles are a part of PACS. I'm just thanking you for being school board members and everything you do to support the school district. We know it takes a lot of time and you really have to want to be here. And so we appreciate that. All of the pictures are just happy celebration points that I just couldn't fit into the presentation of things that have happened all school year. What am I missing?
There's just 2 jewelry and Henry out there, so I can get
Yeah.
and then I have this for you. So
So yeah, I just wanted to give you that and then just share out how amazing the teachers and students and staff are in our school, because honestly, I get to come up here and brag, but it's not me doing it. All of this comes from everything that they're doing. And I can't speak highly enough about our staff. It's a tough job. And it takes special people to continue to come in and do it every day. Because there are days that are very defeating, but getting to do this presentation was pretty special because we all got through the first term and we're starting to feel that burn. And, you know, you go home and you're exhausted and you're like, what am I thinking? What am I doing? And then you start putting a presentation like this together and you realize the impact you have and how much joy this job brings for all of us. I am very grateful and thankful to be in the role I am and to work with the people I do. And I do want to thank all of you for giving me that opportunity. But I just want to make sure that, you know, you realize how wonderful our staff is. Because we really are very blessed and they work together and everyone has such amazing intentions. And it comes across in all different ways because everyone has something different to give. But as a whole, it's a pretty special place to work and I'm very blessed to be there. Sorry, trying not to get emotional. So I'm going to end with a video. This is from Team Nukamori. One of the house leaders is Miss Stenson and the other one is Miss Alin Jonart. So I'll just go ahead and play that video for you of their little cheer. All right, well, and that's it. So thank you for giving me time to brag.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Gallagher and all of Emerson School. That was awesome. Great things are going on with the Emerson kids, and I'm just thrilled to and privileged to work with you guys, and only can wait for what's to come. So thank you very much for that great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ms. Gallagher, very much.
I'm excited to bring Toodles home to my fourth grader and say, guess what Dad got? So thank you for that.
Next, Ms. Jonart is going to give us an enrollment update.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. We just, excuse me, certified our enrollment numbers today. And so I had planned on doing a graph and showcase, you know, a comparison, but they just were certified today. So I just have a couple of numbers to share with you. And I'll bring forward a more extensive comparison next month. But for the elementaries, we're down about 20 students. And just eyeballing it, and like I said, I'm just eyeballing these numbers. Our kindergarten class was lower than usual than over the last few years, or several years, I should say. I should also say that that's not an unusual thing. I see that we're seeing that across the state with the AA's, that the kindergarten enrollments were down. So we're about 20 students down. That would have been more devastating. However, we have 72 students in our pre-K school, so that classroom, so that kind of helped a little bit with that enrollment drop. East Middle School is down 16 students from last year, and that's because our sixth grade class was quite a bit smaller than that eighth grade class that was going up to the high school. And then at the high school level, we're down 38 kids, and that's attributable to, although the eighth grade class was bigger than the seventh grade or the sixth grade class coming in, it was significantly smaller than what we've experienced in the last couple of years at the freshman level. So I can dig deeper down exactly how many kids left and that kind of thing next month, but I wanted to give you an overall view of basically where we're at with the enrollment numbers. these enrollment numbers are also very raw because they also do not include, like we say, we're 20 down at the elementary level. However, that can be made up by the number of students who participated in our summer school program, where we get a quarter of quarter of an A and B for those kids. We'll get more. It'll lessen that impact. Also, at the high school level, we have a few part-time students and also some homes more basically they're part-time students. Some are homeschool students, some are private school students taken to Digital Academy, which helps our enrollment. And I'm not sure if we have anybody at the Job Corps, but again, those will also help lessen that hit with for A and B purposes. So again, this is just a rough overview of our enrollment.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions of Ms. Jonart? Next, Ms. Jonart is going to give us an election update.
Yes, just quick review of that. House Bill 406 that was passed last spring had some updates on the election procedures. So first thing I want to say is that calling for a school election we used to have to do that 70 days prior to the regular school election. That was changed to now we have to call for that school election 145 days prior to the regular school election. So that means that we will bring forward, if you remember, we bring those resolutions in February. Our election resolutions in February. We'll be doing that in December this year. Additionally, we do, just as we did in prior years, we still have the ability to amend those resolutions up until 70 days prior to the election. So that part did not change. The second part of House Bill 406 was when you are filing for a candidates filing for to run for a trustee position. You can't do it any sooner than 145 days prior to the election, or no later than 85 days before the election. Used to be 40. Now you have to do it within 85 days, but not any sooner than 145. So there, and I didn't really actually count the dates. So I will bring them forward next month, the exact date when you have to file, by when you have to file. So that's the update on House Bill 406 that was passed last spring.
Thank you, Ms. Jonart. Next is Montana Youth Court Services Community-Based Prevention Program Recognition Award.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I wanted to bring forward, I thought this was a really, really wonderful recognition at the Montana Youth Court Services Annual Conference. And Tom, please jump in if I misspeak on this. They recognized longstanding commitment to community-based prevention programs serving the youth of Montana, and they awarded it or recognized programs that had 10 or more years of running, and they were recognizing the dedication to safety, accountability, and competency development that strengthened families, supported positive youth outcomes, and advanced our shared mission within the juvenile justice system. And the Second Judicial District Youth Court, our Butte High School Student Intervention Program, was recognized for this as one of those community-based prevention programs. Our program has been running for close to 20 years, and it has funded our graduation coach, and it has done some, fabulous things, and we've had a lot of success in that. And I can't thank our partnership with the Second Judicial District Youth Court for allowing us to continue this. And I just hope we have years and years of continued partnership with this group.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Bilteen.
I would just echo what Judy said and just add that, we didn't cut off, we made the 10-year so that we had an opportunity to recognize longstanding programs. Obviously, there was 12 of them across the state that we were able to do. Coincidentally, several of those 12 are based off of the student intervention program that Butte School District #1 and the youth group services did many years ago. I'm looking at Melissa over there. She was our starting teacher at that point, when Glenn Granger was my boss. And I would just add that there was only, I think there were two other programs that had that 20-year acknowledgement. So again, just a huge kudos to the school district and youth court. I feel like I'm patting both sides of my back here, but yeah, that partnership. And just wanted to add that yeah, we recognized 10, but really wanted to show the appreciation for those 3 that were 20 years with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Radio ads, Ms. Jonart, attendance matters.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. You know, our focus this year, as it is every year, really have been focusing on attendance and getting back to pre-COVID years in terms of attendance matters. And we've done we put out a large campaign going forward. As you know, you may have read the letter that I sent with the water bills that talked about just about attendance awareness and how important it is, and some statistics that went home to every household in the city. We also have done banners all across in every elementary and middle school and high school. The banners are just a reminder that attendance does matter and it's important to be here all day, every day. We have the community action team that's headed by Mr. O'Neill. They have also taken up this as one of their goals, and thankfully, and they are working and have sent out posters to businesses and reminding the importance of how important it is to be in school and the dangers of what chronic absenteeism can cause in terms of dropouts and being not meeting benchmark at, those 3rd grade and middle school levels, and not being at benchmark in reading or math. They also will be partnering with me with the Butte School District and helping us get some buttons out. That again, just a awareness of how important it is to be in school, and we're hoping to get those out to businesses where employees will wear them. If you go to go get a taco, the employees wearing those, or a McDonald's and the employees wearing them. So we're hoping that we will get those buttons out. So pretty soon. We also did these radio ads, and I think and I wanted to have you hear them just in case you hadn't heard them on the radio yet. I just think they're awesome. The kids did them, and I think they were awesome. I just was excited for you guys to hear these. They were done, students from Hillcrest East, Butte High School, and Kennedy. And I want to thank Heather Buney. She came to the schools and actually recorded it, and the kids didn't have to go to the radio station. And I think it's such a success that I'm going to work with Heather to maybe do something every month and highlight them on these radio ads. But I just think they're awesome. And I just want to thank the kids for stepping up and doing this, and I hope you enjoy them.
Thanks, Ms. Jonart.
They were excellent. They were awesome. Really good.
I hope you enjoyed them. I thought they did an excellent job, so thank you.
That was good. All right, Ms. Jonart, first reading and review of policy 1009 FE recruitment and retention.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, this is a new policy. It's not the content really isn't new. It's things that that are in place by law and that we've been able to do. But we wanted to make sure that we have it in place as a policy, and it's part of the flexibility and efficiency policy, and it has to do with recruitment and retention of instruction teachers and administration. And what it does is provide for example, it provides for internships, which we have taken advantage on multiple occasions for special education teachers, where we were short special ed teachers and they enter the internship program and we're able to meet accreditation by having them participate in an internship and become and get over the and it's a 3-year internship and they get fully endorsed at the end of that 3 years. It's a really a partnership between OPI, the school district, and a university, one of Montana universities. Provisionally certified, we've also used that in the past, class 5. Those are as old as Hector. But where they are provisionally certified, if you have a teaching certificate and you may not be, you might want to be, become a math teacher, but you already, you might be a science teacher and you want to get that math endorsement, you can get a class 5 as long as you are, again, in a approved program with the university and working towards that endorsement. The other retired educators, this is new. This is new this year from the legislative session that allows, at one time they a retired teacher was not able to teach again until 150 days after they retired. They reduced that to 120 days. And then if there is a real need, that is reduced at where this teacher can come right in if they can show that they can't fill a specific area, like for example, if you're short a math teacher and you can't find anybody, then you can immediately bring in that retired teacher. Also, they can come in as mentors immediately. They don't have to wait that 120 days after they retire. So some really good things going on in that new law that was passed last legislative session. It also talks about a Class 3 administrative license, which are all the same procedures in place that have been in place and in law for several years, but is now part of this policy. Class 4, which is a CTE, that is where a Class 4 where a person can teach career and technical education. That's another pathway to being a highly qualified teacher. There's also the emergency authorization of employment. We have not done that. Some school districts have, but again, if in need, we have that as a tool belt. In order to be emergency authorized, the individual must have previously held a valid teacher or specialist certificate and have met some of the rules under 1057-107. It's only valid for 1 year, but it can be renewed from year to year, provided that the situation is continued to persist in those scarce areas. So again, we haven't had to do that, but if the time occurs, we'll have that in policy. Those are the basics of this policy.
Any questions? Thanks, Ms. Jonart. Next, first reading and review of policy 2334, release time for religious instruction.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, 2334, the law used to say that upon written request, a student's parent or guardian renewed at least annually, a student may be released from regular school attendance for the purpose of receiving an off-campus religious instruction. Now the law says must. So upon a request of the student's parent or guardian renewed at least annually, a student must be released for a regular school attendance for the purpose of receiving an off-campus religious instruction for a period of 1 hour. It's 5 hours, or I think it's 1 hour per week. Excuse me, it should be 1 hour per week. Early release of a student for the purpose of religious instruction will not adversely affect the student's enrollment status or attendance record. So they would not be counted as absent in those. They would be in excused absence. So that's a change from that law.
Thank you, ma'am. First reading and review of policy 3141, non-resident student enrollment, application for out-of-district attendance agreement, and fostering group home student attendance.
Okay, Madam Chairman, members of the board, these are just some little bit of changes that needed to be completed for under 3141. It should state we had to change the date from 24 to 25, from 25 to 26 on that policy. We had to add language in there that the district shall notify the parent or guardian of the child and district of residence involved in the out-of-district attendance agreement of the anticipated date for approval or disapproval of the agreement application by the Board of Trustees. So that these people have to be notified, and that information is consistent with our other policy of 3600. The other change in this, another change in this policy is when reviewing and determining whether to approve an application for attendance by a non-resident child, the superintendent or the designee shall recommend for approval, and Board of Trustees shall approve the application unless the approval of the application will negatively impact the quality of education for resident pupils by grade level, by school, or in the district in the aggregate in one or more of the following ways. And the thing that they added to this was that if the maximum student contact hours for a teacher of the class or maximum class sizes under accreditation standards of the Board of Public Education. So it cannot go over the maximum. If you allow a student from out of district to enter into the district, that numbers cannot go over the maximum student contact hours for a teacher or maximum class sizes. So that was added to the policy. Then there was a few things, in the event the district receives more, if we ever came to the situation where we have more applicants than what we can take as in terms of numbers of teachers and class sizes, district receives more applications than the district can accommodate, the district shall prioritize applications on the basis of the quality of education for students or residents of the district of attendance as defined by the district strategic plan. This priority may include applications from students whose parents are employees of the district, applications from previously enrolled students with demonstrated good behavior, and children with siblings who have previously enrolled in the district as non-resident students. So you can use those criteria as choosing, prioritizing that list if it ever comes to that. If we ever had to, because start a waiting list. The last piece, well, not the last piece. There was a section that was added to this. They added the transportation section that was always just in the forms. And again, it didn't change any of the procedures that we do with out of district students. We do not provide transportation, and but that part is on the form piece, and they suggested and recommended that we include that transportation language within the policy itself. So that's been added to the policy. And then finally, they have they're added cross references of policy 2158, policy 2413, policy 3125F, and policy 3150. And a legal reference, the residence rules of determining, 1-1-215 of the Montana Code annotated, and then 10-10-301 out of district attendance agreements. So that's the changes in that policy.
Thank you. Any questions? First reading and review of policy 3612, district provided access to electronic information services, equipment and networks, and internet access and equipment using conduct use agreement. Okay,
So, Madam Chairman, members of the board, bear with me a little bit. This is a little bit lengthy. 3612, district provide access to electronic information service equipment and networks. What they did basically is what we're doing is we're pretty much reducing and making the policy more concise. So a lot of the extra language was cut out, and new language was added to be more concise and more easier to read policy. So the first couple of paragraphs were struck out, and we added the language: the district expects all students to take responsibility for appropriate and lawful use of this access, including good behavior online. The district may withdraw student access to its equipment, network, and to the internet when any misuse occurs. District teachers and/or other staff will make reasonable efforts to supervise and use the use of equipment, network, and internet access. However, Student cooperation is vital in exercising and promoting responsible use of this access. Nothing in the curriculum piece has changed. The one thing that we did cross out for under acceptable uses is section E, and under section E, we had said in our policy, we had said students are prohibited from using email. That's no longer the rule, so we cross that out. Students are have access for email. So what it should read now under E is uses that violate the academic honesty requirements of policy 3310P2, including but not limited to the use of district networks or equipment to access artificial intelligence or other online resources without prior authorization of the classroom teacher for the purpose of engaging in academic dishonesty. So now that's what is new in under section E. The old, under internet safety, that old language was crossed out. And what it did was again, combined it and made it more concise to read. Oh, bear with me so I can get my sorry, excuse me. But under violations of this policy will result in the loss of access and may result in other disciplinary or legal actions. The principal will make all decisions regarding whether a user has violated this policy and related rules or regulations and may deny, revoke, or suspend access at any time, with that decision being final. So that was added to it. So that's the policy itself. Then under, I think, okay. Then under 3612 procedure, all that was changed there was more cross-references were added. The legal references were changed, cross-reference to policy 2050, policy 2168, policy 2170, policy 2170P, and policy 3650, and policy 3650 F1. So that was the changes to policy 3612P. And then 3612F. Again, just more legal references again. Nothing else changed other than the legal reference under Montana Code annotated duties and sanctions, and then references of 2050, policies 2050, 2168, 2170, 2170P, 3650, and 3650 F1. So those were the references on that.
Any questions? All right, Ms. Jonart, first reading and review policy 3650 pupil online personal information protection.
Hey, Madam Chairman, members of the board, on this 3650, there was the definition that was changed to include definitions. K-12 school purposes means activities that customarily take place at the direction of a school teacher or school district or aid in the administration of school activities, including but not limited to instruction in the classroom or at home, administrative activities, and collaboration between pupils, school personnel, or parents, or that are for the use and benefit of a school. The term does not include courses that are provided for the purpose of post-secondary credit or work-based learning courses provided by a work-based learning partner pursuant to 20-7-1510. So basically, that new definition was included on the pupil online personal information protection policy. Additionally, cross references included the addition to of policy 3235, video surveillance, 3612, school provided access to electronic information, services, equipment, and networks. That procedure and the form that we just went over was added to that policy.
Thank you, ma'am. And now Mr. Bilteen. Kathy Milodragovich, Marvin Hines Award from himself.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually have a script, so we're gonna make sure I'm short and sweet with this. But last week at our Montana Conference on Education Leadership, Ms. Milodragovich was honored along with several other distinguished trustees from across the state with the Marvin Hines Award. The highest recognition, individual recognition offered through the Montana School Board Association's Board Academy program. This award marks the attainment of gold level certification, signifying that Kathy has completed at least 96 hours of approved training and professional development in school board governance, leadership, policy, and community engagement. This accomplishment is more than a record of training. It's a reflection of Kathy's deep commitment to continuous learning, effective leadership, and service for and to our students and community. Through her years on this board, Kathy has exemplified what it means to lead with purpose, compassion, and integrity. Her dedication helps raise the bar for all of us, and our district is stronger because of her insight, energy, and steadfast commitment to doing what's best for kids. Kathy, at this time, on behalf of the board, the administration, and our entire community, school community, as well as Montana School Board Association, we congratulate you. We thank you for your exceptional service, your leadership, and for helping us move forward together for the benefit of every student. If folks want to give a round of applause for our great Kathy, bring out for the signing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I did my best to keep it clean with my stuff. Yes.
Congratulations, Kathy. Thank you.
It takes. a village.
Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you.
Sincerely appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, public comment on items not on the agenda. Anyone wishing to speak on any matter not on the agenda may step forward now. Please identify yourself before you begin. I must caution anyone wishing to speak, you may not discuss personnel issues, student issues, or pending litigation during the comment session. Due to time constraints, each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Do we have any public comments on any items not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to approval of payroll claims, budget transfers, revenue reports, budget versus actual reports, travel requests, and school budget reports. Motion from trustees.
Move to approve.
Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Trustees have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Approval of the amended PAR for September 22nd, 2025. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm asking you for your approval to amend for the amended PAR that was submitted on September 22nd, 2025. And the change was just a change of the start date for one of the classified personnel.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Next, Ms. Jonart, approval of the PAR for October 20th, 2025.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask for your approval of the following PAR. We have one retirement, certified personnel, one retirement. Under classified, we have 16 appointments. Under leave of absence, we have 1. We have 4 resignations under classified personnel. We have 30 supplemental appointments. We have 1 resignation. And we have 1 removal for inactivity. May I appreciate your approval?
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions regarding the PAR for October 20th? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 2100, school year calendar and day. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, request your approval of policy 2100 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 2150, suicide awareness and prevention. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm asking your approval of policy 2150 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 2165, early targeted intervention, 2165F, early targeted intervention consent. Motion from trustees. Oh, sorry, Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, again, ask for your approval of the policy 2165 and the form for early intervention as presented last month.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions, Ms. Jonart? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 2335, human sexuality instruction and identity instruction, 2335F-1, human sexuality instruction and identity instruction annual notice, 2335F-2, human sexuality and instruction and identity instruction 5 to 14 notice, 2335F3, human sexuality instruction and identity instruction. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I would ask for your approval of policy 2335 and 2335 F1, F2, and F3 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of 2450 Indian Education for All. Ms. Jonah.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask for your approval of policy 2450 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 3655, student safety. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask for your approval of policy 3655 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 5120P, hiring process and criteria, federal background check, fingerprints, and information handling procedure. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask your approval of policy 5120P as presented last month, and hopefully this is the last time we'll be bringing that one forward.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval policy 5122, fingerprints and criminal background investigations. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask for your approval of policy 5122 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 5252, notice of non-renewal of non-tenured teachers for financial reasons. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I ask for your approval of policy 5252 as presented last month.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Approval of the 2025-2026 board goals. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm asking for your approval of the board goals that were determined during your work session last month.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval to go to bid for replacement of Naranchi turf. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm writing to formally request your approval to solicit bids to upgrade the turf at Naranchi Field. The current turf has reached the end of its recommended lifespan and is showing signs of wear that may impact both safety and performance. I appreciate your consideration to this request.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Jonart? Mr. Bilteen.
More curiosity, is there any like in-state providers, or is it just presumed that this is an out-of-state type of process, looking for someone to replace that?
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I believe they're all out-of-state providers, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but we will solicit bids from everybody, frankly.
Right. Thank you.
Any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval to host the Special Olympics State Basketball Tournament 2026 through 2028. Ms. Jonart.
Madam Chairman, I think Mr. Miller is here.
Yes.
Steal his thunder.
Oh, there he is, Mr. Miller. Steal his thunder.
Shut up.
Madam Chair, members of the board, before you is a request from Montana Special Olympics for Butte and Butte School District to host the next three Special Olympic state tournaments. We were the host 3 years ago. We part of our tenure as a host got mixed up in COVID. And so they've come back to us again with the opportunity. They're very, very excited with the potential in Butte. They're already excited about the fundraising potential. This is a foundation piece for all of our unified champion schools that we have here at East and encompasses our whole school district. I've also agreed to sign on as a games director for those 3 years. So we'll have a little bit better control as well.
Thank you, sir. Could I have a motion from trustees?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Do you have any further questions to Mr. Miller or Ms. Jonart? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of 2025-2026 pre-employment transition services contract. Ms. Johnson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm asking your approval to join a contract with the Pre-ETS Improvement Program. This program will help us get some funds for students to try to start more work-based learning in our schools. In addition, we'll also help with this 22-year-old. Hopefully we can get some funds to maybe help support some of these students, along with our resource room students, getting them some pre-employment opportunities before they hit the real world, and it's not very nice. So we're going to work on employability in our schools, employability in our partners, and some job shadowing, internships, and different options for these kids that are paid and unpaid.
Motion from trustees? Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded. Do you have any questions of Ms. Johnson regarding the transition services contract? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes, and thank you, Ms. Johnson, for your work on that one. We are at the end of our meeting, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Don't ever be opposed. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank